Early.
Did we do any of these yesterday?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. The first question says this. Why would Jesus' brothers want him to show himself to everyone when even they didn't believe in him? They're not saying go show yourself because you're the Messiah. They don't believe he's Messiah. So why are they telling him to go make a big show of himself?
Because, wait, why would Jesus' brothers want Jesus to show himself off?
Yeah. They don't believe he's Messiah, but they're telling him, go show them all these great things you can do.
Miracles? I don't know.
Okay, because it's miracles.
He does good stuff.
Okay?
They don't believe he's God, then why would they?
For popularity. Yeah, sometimes people, I don't know if you've heard of this idea of an entourage. The example I used in first hour was the football playoffs. Who is often on camera in the football playoffs? Who? Taylor Swift, and everybody knows that, right? And everybody's looking at Taylor, and Taylor is constantly surrounded by people, right? Now, some of those people are just in Travis Kelce's box, but a lot of them are her entourage, the people who go with her. Famous people go with an entourage, sometimes bodyguards, sometimes friends, sometimes hangers-on, but mostly people who just want to be near that person. That could be the case in this, that they want to get notoriety from their famous big brother. But they don't believe in him. And they make fun of him. So why would they tell him to go make a big show of himself? There's not a right or wrong answer. Where are they going? Where's Jesus going? Where are his brothers going? No. Jerusalem. The big stage. The big city. Maybe they want to see what he can do there. Who knows? We don't know for sure. What I do know for sure is that this is going to be a lot more interesting if you guys answer instead of just talking. So next question. Some of the Jews thought that Jesus was a deceiver. What kind of deception were they talking about? What might they have thought was the lie that Jesus was perpetrating? Okay, that he can actually perform miracles. What else? That he's the Messiah. That in the back. Yeah, they probably thought that maybe he was just performing tricks or magic or something like that. And his claim to be equal with God is either true or it's blasphemy. And I think that's part of it too. That he's leading people astray by making himself equal with God, claiming to be equal with God. The Jews were surprised at Jesus' knowledge because he had not sat under the teaching of their rabbis. So remember that when someone wanted to study with a rabbi, that person would go to a rabbi and say, "Will you teach me?" And Jesus did it the other way around. He called his own disciples, but he never went to school to be a rabbi. He never sat under another rabbi. And so if the people knew that, and there's no way of knowing if the people knew that, that might have something to do with this answer. So the Jews were surprised that of Jesus' knowledge because he had not sat under, been taught by their rabbis. So what was the source of Jesus' teaching? Who was the source?
Lord's teaching.
What?
The God's teaching.
Yeah, he actually didn't need to be taught, right? Um, the source of Jesus' teaching was the Bible, right? Or not the Bible, was um, directly from the Father. That's what Jesus indicates, that he's telling them what he knows from the Father. What does the rabbi's question suggest about where they were looking for their authority? So let's find that question. I wish it told us where it was. Anybody have that question in the reading? 7, 1. I think it's in verses 16 and 17. Why don't we start there and see if that's there? Yeah. 16 and 17. John 7, 16. Yes, thank you.
So Jesus answered them, my teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. If anyone's will is to do God's will, he will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I am speaking on my own authority.
So do they ask a question just before that? Or after that?
Verse
Do
1
the
through
Jewish
4
leaders? Okay, what does it say?
says, how is it that this man when he is innocent?
Okay, so they ask, and I don't think they're asking it to Jesus, I think they're asking it to each other. How can this man know all this stuff if he's never been schooled? He's never had an education. How could he? How did he know it all? Because he's God, right? He didn't need to be taught. You can't teach God anything. He already knows it all. Literally. I know students who think they know it all, but or people that think they know it all, but Jesus actually did. So yeah, they were. They seem to. They seem to think that it was handed down through the religious leaders of the nation, but Jesus got his teaching directly from God. He knew it because he was God. What does verse 17 teach is the determining factor in allowing us to understand the source of Jesus' authority? Who is it that understands who Jesus is? That's how I would word it. What sort of people believe in the authority of God? People who fear him? Yes. Yeah, willing to obey. People who are willing to obey what God has. And people who understand who he is and what he's done. Those who genuinely believe and follow God. Next question. What is suggested by the fact that the Jews wanted to seize Jesus? Did they think he was a lunatic or someone blaspheming by claiming to be God? Did they think he was crazy or did you think he was lying? Probably both, maybe both. I don't think it really matters. But what we do know is that they believed that he was a blasphemer who needed to be punished for that because blasphemy is against the Jewish law, obviously. So, yeah, they believed he needed to be judged. What does verse 31 show that Jesus' miracles had accomplished in some people's hearts? So the people that didn't believe in him and judged him, how did those who the miracles that believed in the miracles, what did that accomplish in them?
That many people believed in him, and that they were talking about how when Christ appears, he'll do more signs.
Yeah, will he do more signs? Like is Messiah going to do more than this? And the assumed answer is no. Saying this is the Messiah. Yeah, it brought belief in Jesus. They placed their faith in Jesus. So some were led to believe by Jesus' words, and then to be believed then means to be changed, because we are changed when we come to believe in Christ. So that would have been true of those who believed what he said. Any questions on any of this? Okay, so now turn to the teacher lesson. And I'm going to stop this video and start a new video.
Please practice it.